Hi, I'm Weiting. It's a great pleasure for me to represent our team to present our research here. Our research topic is Preserving Our Dialect, a case study of Wenzhou. What is Wenzhou dialect? This is actually the local dialect used in Wenzhou City, Zhejiang Province in China with a long history. You can even date back to Tang Dynasty. The use of Wenzhou dialect covered almost 90% of the Wenzhou city. However, since the founding of People's Republic of China, people from different regions were encouraged to use standardized Chinese or Mandarin to smoothen communication across the country. This had dramatically reduced the use of local dialects in many places and indirectly caused many dialects such as Wenzhou dialect in Wenzhou to become endangered. Realizing the importance of dialects to their identities, local authorities and people always trying to preserve the use of dialects in their daily lives. While Mandarin is widely encouraged in the country, Wenzhou is one of the cities that's still trying to preserve the use of its dialect in public places, such as public service messages in wet market and announcement on the bus. In Wenzhou, most of their buses usually are announced by using two languages, Wenzhou dialect and Mandarin. However, on March 17, 2022, there is a news saying that English will replace Wenzhou dialect on the bus. This caused a heat debate on social media platforms, especially on TikTok. According to research by Wenzhou Evening Post, 90% of the Wenzhou citizens are against the cancel of Wenzhou dialect. A few days after the incident, Wenzhou Transport Group held a conference to clarify that it was actually a rumor and they won't cancel Wenzhou dialect. Although the plan is cancelled, responses on social media reflect the attitude of Wenzhou citizens in preserving their dialect. Therefore, this study intends to investigate and analyze the reasons behind the responses. In order to answer this question, we use content analysis as our methodology to analyze the contents under the news on the social media. We mainly focused on one post by Baixiao News on TikTok, which is considered credible in local. We collected nearly 6,000 of the comments under this post and analyzed them all. Based on our analysis on these comments, there are basically three reasons: practicality, inheritance, and uniqueness. For practicality, it means the ability of something being put out to use. In this case, it is something crucial or it is the only language used by the elderly. Most of the netizens voiced their dissatisfactions about the actions as they think the authority is not concerned about the senior citizens' needs. In Wenzhou, most senior citizens are still highly depending on Wenzhou dialect, and to some of them, it is the only language that they are able to speak. If Wenzhou dialect announcement is cancelled, it will significantly affect the daily lives of the senior citizens, who are also the main users of public transport. Based on the quotes, some comments also mentioned that adding English into announcement may help in promoting the city, but it is irrational to replace Wenzhou dialect with English based on the population of users in Wenzhou. As for inheritance, to dialect it is something to pass down to next generations. Most people believe that Wenzhou dialect is a symbol of them as a Wenzhounese and it has to be passed down to their kids. As the use of the dialect is already so limited in their daily lives, bus announcement is an exposure to remind the kids that they are Wenzhounese, and some even say that bus is the place for their kids to learn dialect. So canceling the announcement in Wenzhou dialect would be like cutting off the path for the kids to learn language. As for uniqueness, it means Wenzhou dialect is a symbol of Wenzhou. It is special and is something that could represent the local specialties. The citizens' comments also mentioned regional representatives. For instance, they said Guangzhou and Hong Kong. They also use their dialects on bus to show their specialties. Like different areas, they have different dialects. If Wenzhou lose their dialect in public places, they are no more different from people who are of different regions. That's how dialects show regional representatives. So, based on these three reasons, they are actually in line with previous study. According to Xie's research, when we are trying to protect our dialect, we actually are thinking about the practicality. On the one hand, the dialect will produce a psychological affinity for the young and old people who can already speak Mandarin. On the other hand, the dialect is convenient for local senior citizens who can only speak dialect. This is in line with our first dimension. As mentioned by the comments, the main reasons for the incident is to ensure the use of dialect for the elders. Also, in one's study, preserving dialect is also something related with inheritance and development of culture. This regard for dialect protection will become an obstacle to cultural inheritance and bring challenges for the next generation. This explains the second dimension we have found in this study. Dialect or language are always seen as heritage to be passed down, which becomes an essential component for cultural protection and development. Comments above also emphasize the loss of dialect would greatly damage the heritage of local culture. Moreover, Taimai's study confirms that uniqueness is an important factor in dialect preservation. One's study also agrees that dialect carries cultural value, highlighting the local characteristics of the city and the regional customs. As mentioned by the comments, Wenzhou dialect is something that cannot be replaced. This is the foundation of Wenzhou culture. Its special characteristics makes it different from all other dialects, and therefore makes Wenzhou citizens distinguishable from people of other regions. The loss of Wenzhou dialect will be the loss of the symbol of Wenzhou. In general, from this analysis, it reflects the attitude of Wenzhou citizens in preserving Wenzhou dialect. People strived to protect their dialect for the three main reasons: practicality, inheritance, and uniqueness. We hope this preliminary study could serve as a heads up for local authorities to take into consideration the needs of the public in their future planning. In order to provide constructive suggestions to local authorities of the public needs, we'll extend our efforts by having interviews with local citizens to understand their view in preserving and reviving of the dialect. Apart from understanding the reasons, we intend to get public views on effective ways to promote and preserve dialects in future. By understanding this, we hope to provide constructive suggestions to local authorities in their future effort in preserving the dialect. Thank you.